What's happening, family? What's happening? I'm currently in Starbucks in the airport, and I wanted to make sure I do a video. Just randomly thinking, man. Just wanted to share this with you guys. I put a post up a couple of days ago in regards to succeeding the right way, and it's so very important how we succeed. I think people are so caught up in today and just succeeding that they don't understand that how they get there, it matters. If you got a hook and crook to make it, it's not gonna last. You're gonna have to go back, or you're gonna have to one day give an account for all of that. If you gotta demean yourself to get there, then when you get there, is it really worth it? I mean, it's one of those things that you got to really stop and think about and consider, because people are watching you. Your story is teaching somebody, and you can either teach somebody to sell out their morals, their values, their principles, everything that they believe in, just for $1, or you can show them the true essence of hard work and grit and what it means to really, put the work in and grind. People say grind, I'm grinding like they really understand what it is. Nah, man, it sounds good. It sounds luxurious. It sounds real luxurious, but grinding is 2 o'clock in the morning strategizing, 3 o'clock in the morning studying, researching, reading, feeding your brain, looking at, depending on what market you're in or what it is that you're grinding for, knowing everything that you can about that business, that venture, or whatever, doing your homework, and being ready for whatever. That's grinding. It's getting out there. It's getting out there, taking the no's, and keep pushing past them, because on the other side of all it takes is one yes. All it takes is one yes. So when we talk about success, we talk about it from a standpoint of this Jay-Z Beyonce model, this Cardi B model, the superset model. We talk about success from that standpoint, and I think I respect and I respect all of their hustles. I respect all of their grinds and the status that they've achieved. Superset, I'm just gonna shout her out. My friend, my babe, put me up on Superset, and I was asleep on her. I didn't know who she was until she kept talking about it. She was like, "Man, super this, super that." And so I went back and I started checking her out, and you gotta respect the grind. I mean, she did what she had to do, and she's built it. She's built her brand and her influence to the point that she could put on a sale, and in a matter of an hour, make 1 point whatever million. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. That's freaking amazing. That's success. But she grinded for it. She didn't sell out for it. She just being herself, being who she is, doing what she do, living her life. That's it. But she didn't demean herself for it. She didn't have to do whatever to get there. And I think that's the thing that we miss a lot of times. We see people succeed, but we never ask them about the journey. We see their now picture, but we don't see the picture when they were struggling. Steve Harvey talks about it all the time. When he was homeless, had to sleep in his car. He talks about when he had people investing into him when he had absolutely nothing. And you see him even now. You know what I'm saying? I believe he's 60 years old and he's still grinding. So success to me is not a destination. It's not a place. It's fluid. You know what I'm saying? Success is fluid. If I achieve my goal today, then that means I get a new goal, and I achieve it tomorrow, and I get a new goal, and I achieve it the next day, and I get a new goal, and I achieve it the next day, because I will not allow society or anything like that to put a cap on me. So when I think about success, and these Fred files, these are my rants. These are just my random thoughts. So when I think about success, and I think about what it means, and I think about what it is, and I think about the process to get there, don't let society, it's the best thing I can tell you, man, don't let society trick you to making you think that you got to be half naked on Instagram to succeed. Don't let society trick you to thinking that you got to go out and be a stripper, or be a low-key prostitute, or a straight flat-out prostitute, or that you got to over-sexualize yourself to succeed, because you don't. You can maintain your dignity, you can maintain your integrity, and you can win. It may take you longer to get there, but would you rather have a good conscience? Would you rather have a good, clean, clear conscience where you can look yourself in the mirror, you can look at yourself in the mirror and not have to make excuses for what you did, but rather understand that I held true to who I was. I held true to who I was. I held true to who I'm supposed to be. And I made it the way I needed to make it. I made it the right way. And everything I have now is because of my hard work, my grit, God's grace, God's favor. And so I just want to share that with y'all, man. I've been thinking about that a lot, man. I see so many of these, the second wave, I call them the second wave of millennials, because I'm a part of the first wave of millennials, born in 82. And I believe the millennials was something like 82 to whatever year, I don't know, but I know it started in like either 81 or 82. So I'm a part of the first wave of millennials. But that second wave of millennials, man, they got a different mentality. It's almost like I'll do whatever to get whatever. And when you're dealing with a person with the mentality that I'll do whatever to get whatever, that's how you get unloyal people. That's how disloyalty and evil opportunism, and all of that. So you start getting all these other things because you're dealing with a person that'll do whatever to get whatever. Because, I don't know, man. Just my thoughts, my 2 cents. I mean, you ain't gotta like it, you don't have to agree with it, but I would definitely rather sit back with my great grandkids sitting around me, and we're living in the byproduct of my hard work and my grinding, me doing what I had to do, me making it, but never compromising my morals, my values, or my integrity. Me making it. We're living in the byproduct of me saying of this, and we're sitting there, and they ask me, they're like, Paul, how did you do this? Well, I can tell them with a clear conscience, and not from a painful experience. I held on to my integrity. I held on to my morals. I held on to my values. They wanted your pawpaw to sell out, but I didn't. They wanted your pawpaw to compromise, but I didn't. That to me has more value than $1 billion. That has more value. It's always going to be a way to make money. It's always going to be a way to succeed. But how you do it matters. The difference between the person that's grinding in their business and the person that's selling drugs, the difference is grinding my business won't land me in prison. And even though you see some surprise cases where the nothing but the grace of God was on their life, when you got a person like Jay-Z who could just talk about him dealing drugs and he made it out. Like, that's not everybody's story. It's not everybody's story. I know a whole lot of brothers who never made it out. I know a whole lot of brothers who are in the ground right now that never made it out. I know a whole lot of brothers who got the bullet wounds to prove, and they stuck still. Everybody don't make it out. But if you could just grind and do it, I understand that has to do with your environment and all of that stuff, and we're gonna talk about that later, because environments do make a difference, and sometimes you got to just get up and adjust and move. But I want to encourage you to succeed. Man. If you take anything away from this video, I want you to take away that you can succeed the right way. You can. And I believe you can do it. I want you to do it. I know you can do it.